Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. It feels good to be back. I've had a wee week off, living it up down south in England. So, good to be back. I'm Charlie, for those watching that don't know who I am, and I'm joined, as always, by Calvin. Calvin, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm not bad, mate, not bad. And Jack as well, how are you? Keep it brief, Jack.
Sorry, just to the listeners. We're having quite a bit of hilarity before we came on the podcast this afternoon. Don't worry, I'm not taking any drugs, but I had a bit of hilarity before we came on this evening. So I am good. It's been a busy weekend. Also, I was at the Hibs game on Saturday and met my favourite Hibs player, David Mitchell. So really happy with that. It was brilliant. Did you get a signed goalie glove
yesterday as well? So and I made Calvin very jealous because I got a selfie with Darren McGregor as well. So it's been a busy weekend.
Just in the picture and name here.
Good to be talking about Hibs again. So I'm happy to be back on the podcast and back at it. Well, full house as well, which is nice. Full house, aye. So I think the natural place to start would be Saturday's game at Easter Road and what feels like our 100th 0-0 draw in a row. 0-0 against St Johnstone. Calvin, I'll start with you, mate. What was your thoughts when you seen the starting 11? Did you predict 11 out of 11 on Fan Hub, or how did you go this weekend?
Nah, didn't I? Freaking that app is impossible, man. It's impossible. I'm falling down the league tables. I've actually got a bit of bone to pick with because there's folk that have jumped in halfway through the season who are now above me. And I don't care how that game works. Like, I've been playing since bloody first game of the season. And I had 11 out of 10 this week, really, really close. I had the one. Who did I get wrong? I got somebody through the team who was playing a game.
Macy. Oh, mate, I need to pull up because I got 10 out of 11 on Fan Hub as well.
I got one wrong. I got
Darren McGregor wrong. I think you got the same.
I got the same. I went for the exact same as you actually because that's what I thought it was going to be. I got Darren McGregor wrong. I thought he would have started. He obviously didn't. It was Dre Wright over Darren McGregor. That's what I didn't predict. Other than that, I mean, starting lineup. Other than that, I mean, like we're playing with like the bare bones of a squad. I thought he might have started Melkerson for the full match, but to be fair, you kind of need to get Dodger on the team. I guess the buck does fall with him. He is next in line. But like you said, he does look a yard off the pace. Like, probably 2 yards off the pace, quite a lot. Aye. What about yourself? I honestly wasn't there the weekend. Like, I was away. First sort of home game I've missed in a while. Like, I was just had other plans on and that.
I wasn't surprised with the team, like you say, mate. We're down to the bare bones. Didn't think Melkerson would have started, but that's why it's like when you've got that many players out injured and Rocky suspended, you've got to really just go with what's available. So Jack, come to you, mate. Same question. What was your thoughts on the team?
Not surprised at all, as I expected, to be honest. Although there was a few outside choices that I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen Melkerson get the shout, but again, I understand why he didn't. I understand that Maloney is obviously wanting to stick with Doidge because the buck does stop with Doidge. He is a sort of second striker after Nisbet. I would have liked to have seen the Belgian lad that was sent to Standard Liège. I would like to have seen him start because I think the lad's an exciting young prospect, and it would have been great to have sort of got him in. I think St Johnstone would have been a good team for him to get experienced against. For me, and he would have provided a option at the back in defence, which would have been good to see. But again, I understand, inexperienced heads, you don't maybe want to throw them in at the deep end, or you don't want to do too much too soon. You've got to remember that these lads are only in the senior squad because of the injuries we've got right now. That's the only reason Maloney's done that. So it's great for them to be getting any amount of experience. I think when you've got to consider that they've been brought in essentially as prospects for the future. But yeah, apart from that, I was happy with it, actually. It was great to see Big Kev. It was great to see Dabrowski back in goals again. I think the boy's done so much to earn it for himself. I think he is a decent keeper. And it was great. It was actually great to see him keep a clean sheet again. Obviously, it's not good that we didn't score, but looking at it from that perspective, it was great to see Big Kev keep a clean sheet again because that's going to do the world of good for his confidence. So overall, I was happy with the team, and as I expected it, with the players we have missing.
I totally agree. I think it was good to see Josh O'Connor on the bench. A lot of people have been crying out for that, but obviously with injuries and that's why he was on the bench. I don't think he'll feature much in the first team
for the rest of the season, but nice to see him get that nod. So Jack, what do you think of the first half, mate? I thought we played really good first half. We kept the ball well and limited St Johnstone to not a lot of chances, but obviously just couldn't get the ball in the net. So what was your first half thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was very reminiscent of the Ross County game for me. We were keeping the ball well, keeping possession well. St Johnstone, I don't think, offered much at all. I mean, they didn't offer much in the whole game, to be honest. But we were good at limiting their chances, and we were good at just retaining possession. And we're playing some good stuff. Not once in the first half did I look at it and go, I feel particularly threatened. I thought we were just good at keeping the ball. Jasper, as always, was, I think, great out on the wing the first half, especially. I think the way he was knocking it round players and doing his fancy footwork, that's what we need. And that bit of directness that he does, how he just likes to knock it round guys and take guys on, that was good. But yeah, for me, I've not really got much to say about the first half, apart from we were solid. We could have maybe fashioned more chances for me. I've been saying it before, and I will say it again, that the nice football we're playing needs to have an end product. I think it's good football to watch because we're looking solid, we're keeping the ball well, but for me it needs to have an end product. So that's my sort of synopsis of the first half there, that we're playing well, but we need to have an end product to that good play, because it felt like there wasn't really any threat there from us. Like, you could tell it could have been there, but for me it just wasn't there. I think we've been missing it the past couple of games. We're missing that little spark in the final third for me. And I think, obviously Nisbet being out sort of doesn't help that situation. And that's why, again, coming back from previous point, I would have maybe liked to see Melkerson start. He's got a bit of pace, a bit of physicality about him that Doyce doesn't. So yeah, I think it was as I expected it to be honest. I knew St John's would probably come and make it difficult for us, but we would be the better team on the ball and keep most of the ball as well.
I totally agree, mate. Calvin, I don't know if you watched the game, but what was your sort of take on the first half?
I've seen the highlights in that and read the match report, and it seems like Jack says, like plenty of possession, plenty of shots, but just don't have that end product, and it's fine margins, between winning and losing.
Hey, Jack Ross.
I know. It does seem like it's just, like you said, it is sort of fine margins, to be fair. I mean, I think we had 8 shots on target, and it's just that you can't turn any in. I think there was a good chance Deutsch had, if I'm right. It was in the first half to the second half, where it sort of hit off the goalie and he reacted, and it hit off the goalie again. It's like, I feel like we just feel a bit sorry for ourselves right now. And I didn't think we can afford to do it. I think we're extremely lucky, to be honest with you. I think we're extremely lucky to still be in 4th place. To me, we look like a bottom 6 club at times, just with the amount of injuries, but really mediocre. Like, for me, like, there's a lot of, I think this style of football you're seeing now is, against Celtic last week, we looked brilliant because we had loads of the ball, we kept the ball well, we used the ball well in tight areas and that, but still, we didn't dominate Celtic, we matched Celtic. And I think when you do roles reverse this week and sort of we're the better team, like that sort of passing in possession, because I think we ended up like at least 100 more passes than St Johnstone at the weekend, and it's like we're keeping hold of possession, but I just feel like we've got possession in the wrong areas of the pitch. Like it is a difficult one. Yeah, I think that, not trying to be too negative, but I think that, not saying the season's a write-off, but it's no far off it. Like it's pretty tough to watch now, like especially after finishing 3rd in that last year in cup finals, and it's just it's tough going. Like I'm finding it quite tough now. I'm finding it. I don't really know. I feel like obviously we're not the managers now, so it's quite easy for me to say. I never like commenting saying, "Oh, well, Ken Doyd should have scored that. He should have scored that," because Ken, what, I'm not actually a football player, so I can't say whether he should or he shouldn't. But there's times this season where I feel like the Hibs haven't done the obvious. Like, it would be obvious to start Melkerson. Right, fair enough, he might not be ready in that, but gain a laddie, 30 minutes at the end of the match, like give him a half, or like start him. Why no start him? Like, because what we've been doing so far isn't working. Like, let's just try something new. And if it's not working for him, punt Doidge on for the last 30 minutes. Like, try something a bit different. You know what I mean? I just feel like whatever the fans want, like, maybe don't necessarily. I'm probably just going on one here. Like they maybe don't necessarily get like, and I don't think we'll see Melkerson start probably to the end of the season. I didn't see him starting against Motherwell at the weekend. I didn't see him starting the weekend after that against Aberdeen at home. Like I just don't think you're going to see it. I just think we're going to persist with what we've got at the moment. Unfortunately, just for the highlights that I seen Josh Campbell again, like giving the ball away really poorly, and I think St Johnstone should have probably had a penalty with that one. I don't know if you've seen it. Like just completely trundled them over. Like for me,
it's never a penalty for me.
Never a penalty for me. Like
really, I thought it was. Like I
didn't think it was personally.
I didn't have control of the ball. That like
for where we were sitting, mate, it was definitely no a penalty. Jack, did he get booked for diving?
I'm sure he did. He did. He did. I'm sure he did.
Like,
are we getting the same one?
Is it in the first half?
I think.
There was one in the first half where St Johnstone claimed for a penalty, but it was a complete dive. But
I can't get booked for it.
I can't mind any other ones. But I think Jack, will come to you on the second half, mate. And Calvin, we'll come back to what you were saying about the season because there's a few things I want to pick up on about some players that we'll have a wee discussion about. But Jack, obviously, second half very, very similar to the first half. Not really much happening. We have to weather a storm towards the end of the game. St Johnstone put us under a lot of pressure. They are looking to win the game because they're potentially looking at relegation and a good riddance if they go down. But what was your sort of take on the second half, mate? Obviously, we bring Melkerson and Hauge on, and they look very good. For my money, I thought Hauge looked some engine in him, looking to get on the ball.
Lively.
Melkerson, he's on the pitch 2 minutes and he gets a shot away, albeit it's blocked, but that's positive. What's your thoughts, Jack, on the substitutes at the weekend? Mainly because there was one talking point for the second half, which was the red card, which should have been a red card, but obviously he got booked. But whatever. So, Jack, what was your sort of take on the substitutes?
I think substitutes wise, very positive for me. I think you can tell Maloney's what he was trying to do there. Very, very positive for me to bring on Hauge and Melkerson, two attacking options there. For me, Hauge's an absolute tank. Honestly, the guy's a warrior. Comes on and you can tell he's really wanting to impress. I think for my money, I think Hauge shouldn't get put back into the development squad and start getting players back for injury. He should be staying in the first team now. He's done more than enough for me to show that he's worthy of a first team place, even if it's on the bench. I think he's done more than enough to display it. I think Melkerson came on and you could tell the momentum swung a bit when Melkerson came on. Like you said, he's on the pitch barely 2 minutes and he got a shot away. I'd like to pick up on that chance, actually. I mean, the skill for Jasper, to quote Tam McManus, outrageous. The way Jasper takes on the St Johnstone defence and manages to dribble it all the way into the box, I think the perfect mix of physicality and skill there. And we've been looking for, Demi Mitchell's like that as well. The two of them are very similar in that aspect where they're both quite physical, but they've got a lot of skill about them. We've been crying out for that. We have been crying out for a wee bit of physicality and skill like Jasper has. I think Jasper, I've said it so many times, but I love him. He's an absolute baller, honestly. And then Melkerson, the way, it was just unfortunate it got blocked. I think if there wasn't as many bodies in the way of that shot, you could be talking about a goal. Talking about his first goal in the Hibs shirt. If there wasn't so many bodies in the way. Coming back to the red card incident, I don't know what the referee was watching, but it clearly wasn't what the rest of us were seeing. He basically, he nearly takes JDH's leg off. That was just, it was a bad one. And I'm not all for arguing about, VAR's got its pros and its cons. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but VAR would have looked at that for a red card. VAR, if there'd been VAR, they would have buzzed in the referee's ear and saying, you want to take a look at that for a red card.
On the VAR channel, Jack, it's going to be the same referees that are going to use it.
So that's correct, but I think
we're still going to have the same inept referees that are using a video referee system. That Rangers are still going to get a penalty every week.
Them too.
You know what I mean? Like I think VAR is good for and I want VAR in the game. as long as it's not the English route where your armpit's offside. Get what I mean? Like,
absolutely. But
you're right though. I think if it looks at VAR, that's probably a red card.
That is a red card. Every day it's a red. It's a shocking one. I mean, it was bad seeing it in the ground. When I seen it on the highlights after, it looks 10 times worse. But I'm not going to go down that route too much. I think for me, yeah, subs are positive. But at that point, yeah, St Johnstone got into the game a bit more. Again, I just didn't. Yeah, we had to weather a bit of a storm, but again, I just didn't feel that St Johnstone could have played until the cows come home when they weren't going to score. Neither were we.
I was going to say the same. We wouldn't have scored.
We wouldn't have scored. They wouldn't have scored.
We'd still be playing now, and we wouldn't have scored.
Well, exactly. It's a game on reflection. 0-0 was the fairest result.
Probably, man. That's a concern for me that we've not got what with Sol Boyle, Nisbet's injured. There's your goals. They're gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. It's tough to watch sometimes. But next talking point, and it's another one related to a substitute, and it's one that I tweeted about. I think it was maybe yesterday. It's Scott Allan. For my money, finished in a Hibs jersey. Come on, with about 25, half an hour to go, and every attack except one that went for him broke down because of him. And I know he's a cult hero, and I know everyone loves him. Calvin, he's one of your favourite players of all time in a Hibs jersey, but in my opinion, his time at Hibs is finished. And I don't want to see him pull on a Hibs jersey ever again. And that's the reality of this. That's the way I see it. I think he doesn't fit in Maloney's style of play, and he's just no offering anything to the team anymore. Obviously, you look back last time we played St Johnstone away, he changed the game when he come off the bench, but that was November. We're now in March, and he's not done anything since then. So, Jag, what's your thoughts on Scott Allan? Do you think he's still got something to offer to the team?
I mean, personally, I don't think so, because he and it's unfortunate. It's because of his health that this has happened, but also I think his age is playing a factor in that. I know he's not too old, but his health and the fact that he is sort of over his sort of peak, if you like, because you've got to remember, players in Scott's position, you're looking at your sort of mid to late 20s when you hit your peak years. And unfortunately for him, his health problems have contributed to him sort of having a bit of a demise. I think for me, going back to a championship club like Inverness would probably be the best. I mean, I was actually speaking to Dave Armstrong yesterday at the City game. We were having a chat and saying, championship, he could go to the championship, he'd do well, or he could even go to League One where he'd just stroll it. He'd absolutely stroll it. A club like Airdrie or Cove or something like that that are sort of on the up, that maybe getting promoted into the championship. Something like Airdrie or Cove, or a mid to upper half of the table championship side is what Scott Allan's level is now. And I love Scotty. I honestly do. I think he's an excellent player. Or he was an excellent player. He's done so much for the club, but I just think it's game over. For me, he just did not look the same player. It was actually quite sad. It was sad when you consider what Scott Allan was as a player. Didn't he look the same when he came on? He looked very sort of leggy. He looked fatigued. And he's just obviously no match sharp either, for what you could see. And it's really, really sad. But for me, yeah, Scott Allan, championship at League One for me now. And I'm not saying before any, because I know there might be people at me for it, but I'm going to say, I'm not saying that for any disrespect to him, and that's not me calling out his ability. I think because of his health and because of the fact that he's just not getting enough minutes in his legs to keep him at a level of fitness that would be expected for the Premiership, I think he needs to take a step back. And I think, honestly, the League One comment I think's made about it, he'd get regular minutes and he would look like blimmin' Ronaldinho doing in League One, but I think the Championship was more realistic, and I think he'd do a good job. And he could, I think, even like a bottom half the Premiership club as well, like somebody with like say for example, Inverness do end up coming back up at some point. He'd do a good job with Inverness in the Prem. You know what I mean? Or even somebody like St Mirren or somebody like that. You know, that's his sort of level now. I just don't think, and because we've got a few exciting midfielders. That I think are just going to play ahead of Scott. So that's it for me. But yeah, I do agree with you. Everything that went through him, sort of barring one ball, it just broke down. And like I said, it's just a shame because you know that we've seen flashes of the old Scott, but unfortunately, I don't think he's coming back. Unfortunately, that's just that for me. But that's my sort of view on that.
I agree, Calvin. Your thoughts, mate? I know you love Scott Allan, and you've probably got a different viewpoint to me and Jack on it. But what's sort of your views on it? How do you see it going for him?
obviously, I never seen the game yesterday, so I never seen Scott Allan's performance. And for what you're saying, it obviously wasn't very good. But to be honest with you, I don't really know what Scott Allan can do about that. Like, when you look at it, I think there's a few narratives that have ran on Hibs Twitter, and there's a lot of folks saying, it's like there's a few different narratives about different players at Hibs that folk put on Twitter, and then people take it as gospel. Like, and I think the Scott Allan story is one. And a lot of folk are saying, "Oh, folk need to stop thinking Scott Allan, like he's not as good as he is. Like, people need to stop sort of pretending that he's the answer and he's the saviour and things like that." And I think that's unfair, because I feel like Scott Allan, he's not had a chance in the team. He's not had a chance in the team all year. He's never been the first name on the team sheet all year. So you almost, the way we have treated him as a club has been really poor. And I could, fair enough, he tried the transfer request in that first time round, so maybe didn't owe him anything. I understand that, right? But I just feel like the way he's been treated in terms of like bringing the likes of like kind Josh Campbell and that ahead of him. Like, I still think ability-wise, Scott Allan's one of the best football players and best passers of the ball that we've got. And I feel like, obviously, with the lack of consistency and the lack of game time and the lack of minutes he's been able to get in his legs, it's not really done him any good. But I don't really think that's his fault. I mean, you chuck him on, with 31 minutes to go at home to St Johnstone, who St Johnstone are a bloody hard team to beat on the best day. You chuck him on with 31 minutes, you give him 31 minutes to change the game, and he's not played in months. And bearing in mind, the transfer window before, you were trying to put him on the last day of the transfer window. Like, how do you think he's feeling? Do you know what I mean? And he's sitting there when we're losing to Livingston and things like that. And you always turn to him with like 10, 15 minutes to go. Like, I didn't really think it's that fair to like single him out or like say that say that he's the issue. But I think there's a lot of other people on that park that could be taking more responsibility for like how things have went recently. Like, I mean, for me, I put a comment in the other week. When I was there and News and Aiden discussed it. I mean, Jake Doyle-Hayes, 2 goals there, 2 cracking goals, but does it paper over the cracks for his performances since the start of the season? I'd probably say so. Personally, I don't think he's been good enough this year. Not enough goals from midfield. Like you said, Jack, he's not that Malin type, where, you know, Stephen Mann's last midfielder, I can remember they can hit a shot. Like, they would actually have a shot from midfield. Like, we put too much onus on our strikers. I know the strikers' main job is to score goals, but, I mean, even Nisbet, the way Nisbet was treated and pounded out this year was terrible as well. I mean, you're playing one up front, and look who's sitting behind them. You've got Josh Campbell and Jake Doyle-Hayes, or Joe Newell and Jake Doyle-Hayes. It's so defensive, it's unreal. It's so defensive, so I don't really understand how Nisbet's going to get any joy out of that either. Like, last year, the reason we were so good is because we played 2 up top. It was Doidge and Nisbet all season. And like, I just feel with the Scott Allan thing, like, he probably is past his best, but I didn't think we've really helped that. And I think it's unfair to sort of chuck him in with 30 minutes to go because of his health issues and that. And it probably is time for him to move on. And I think it's time for him to move on because I think he's almost been forced to the club a wee bit. I just think some of the subs in that they've made and some of the folk they've brought on before him this year has been quite degrading to him. And I feel like probably that move would be best for both parties just because he's obviously not part of Jack Ross's, wasn't part of Jack Ross's plans, so Jack Ross wouldn't play him either. Maloney for some reason doesn't like him either. So there must be something going on behind the scenes, and I think a move for him would probably be good. Like you said, it's probably similar to Naomi Onga. Like, and if he left, I think he'd probably do well elsewhere at like a Livingston or like a St Mirren or something like that, or like a Kilmarnock. Like, I think he's still fairly young. I think he's still, I don't know if he's 30 yet or that or whatever. Like, but I just feel like it's quite unfair to single him out because what else is he meant to do? Eh? Like, what can he really do with 30 minutes, 31 minutes? I don't know what he can do with that. And I just feel like people on Twitter as well, like, it's almost like there's certain people on Twitter and what they say goes. I just feel like I've seen a few folks saying like Scott Allan isn't the answer, like people need to get real, and everyone just accepts it as gospel. Like, maybe if you'd give him a run in the team, like ahead of the likes of like, for me, I'm not Jake Doyle-Hayes' biggest fan. I don't really see what he does. I think he's very negative. That Hearts game was the first game I seen him put in a tackle for about 3 months. Up until that, maybe I'm just getting more old and negative as I get older, or more and more sort of just jaded with it. I just feel like there's a lot of players in there that haven't really merited any sort of credit or anything. I feel like a lot of players have let us down this year. I don't think. Like I say, I think you're struggling to get third place in the league and be competitive with Jake Doyle-Hayes as your centre mid. I feel the same with Josh Campbell. They two, that's how you got to win anything with they two at the helm. I just don't believe in it, and I feel like Joe Newell said it before. He had a good game in the derby, very very solid there, but it's too far and too between for me. It's never consistent enough. It's never solid enough. It's always it's too sporadic. It's never consistent, and I feel like Ken, if you dropped one of them and maybe gave Scott a wee bit, because he's an older lad, he's an older head as well, Kenny, maybe could have offered something. Look at Stevenson, he's obviously still going as well, and he's a bit older, but I just feel like the way the whole situation's been handled has been a bit crap, and then to sort of turn around and say, oh, Scott, come on, Scott Allan, you're not doing enough. It's like, I don't really care what he can do. Do you know what I mean? Mm. Like, I just feel like Hibs have been pretty poor with him, and I think it's probably the right time for a move.
I agree, mate. I don't think his contract's getting renewed in the summer. There's a few in that boat as well. But anyway, let's put that the 0-0 to bed. Let's move on to another disappointing result of the weekend at Ainsley Park, home of Spartans, in the Edinburgh Derby in the women's game. And it's another defeat for Hibs Women, which is time after time. What we have got to say about the women's team this season is, they've got beat again. So, Jack, I'll start with you, mate. Starting 11 comes out, and it's just sort of expected team, but the only change is Alexa Quayle's back and up front. Obviously, you were working with City, so you never seen the game. But what was your thoughts when you seen the starting 11?
I was not best pleased, to be honest. I mean, I know it's like what we could, but I think Spartans haven't been great this season. You know, that's nowhere near the Spartan side that they used to be. And I think this is a game where Ria and Tony should have been brought in. I think Ria deserved a chance. I'm not going to go and bash the Tony drum again because folk will be getting fed up of it. So I'm going to go and say that Ria did deserve a start. Ria is a very exciting, young, attack-minded centre midfielder. You put her in the team. I think the problem is Shannon McGregor is good, but we're coming back to the old JDH debate. She's a bit like that, where I think sometimes it can be a bit too negative. And she's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I think Shannon needs to be partnered with an attacking-minded midfielder like Tony or Ria. And I think it was a sort of game where you could have brought Ria in and given her minutes, because, like I said, it's not the Spartan side that they used to be. I think it's a bang average Spartan side.
It's a good question. Who do you drop, Jack?
That does look like one of the strongest 11s that Dean probably put out, I would say.
But maybe. The thing is it's not a bit. The problem is he's playing. Oh, no, the thing is there's not an out-and-out central midfielder after Shannon. I think it was. I think it might have been Shannon Leishman. He put in midfield, or she was on the bench. Sorry, I think it might be Kirsty Morrison in midfield that was put in there, sort of wide. So you're playing the two wide midfielders. It's hard to tell what sort of formation we're going for. Ria should have been brought in instead, or Tony, because both of them are attack-minded midfielders, and that's what happens. Spartans are a tough team to break down, and I don't think we managed that very well. You know, I think Joelle alluded to it, and Dean alluded to it in the post-match interviews, that we weren't aggressive enough. And from what I've seen, and what I heard, we weren't aggressive enough, and that's the problem for me. So I think the lineup was it was as expected. I've got to say, the other thing is, we're dealing with a lot of injuries. I don't know why Penman was taken out. And then Leah Eddy was played at fullback. Leah Eddy's a central defensive midfielder, or a centre half. She's not a fullback. So I was having a chat with somebody about the game, and they were saying we were just getting screwed for pace out wide, because obviously a centre half's not going to be able to do the running that a fullback does. And Leah, that's not Leah's game. Leah's excellent, but she's better as an anchor or as a centre half. She's either protects the back line as a midfielder, or she's in the back line as a centre half. So that one, Ellis Notley getting put out on the other side as well was really weird to me. Again, there's another central defensive player, not a fullback. So I think we have Jenna Penman, we have Shannon Leishman. Why they weren't played perplexes me, because again, they're good players, and that's one of the worst Spartan sides I've ever seen. So we could have afforded to have given some of the younger players a chance. We could have afforded to maybe be a bit more open than we would have against the likes of Aberdeen or Glasgow City. So, yeah, in terms of lineup, as expected, but there was a few changes. I've got to say, this is me personally. I'm not saying that this is like gospel or anything like that. This is what I personally would have done, because I just think I would like to see us be more attacking, be more open. And I think one more thing, as I'd say, is I do think we'll be due another striker soon. You know, I think Alexa's struggling to find her form, which is a shame because she's a good player. She does a lot of running and she's puts in an epic shift every game, but she needs to be finding the back of the net. And whilst Daly's not fully fit yet, where are the goals coming from?
I agree, mate. I agree. Calvin, I'll come to you, mate. I think you were doing the Twitter updates, mate, so I'm assuming you watched the game.
I watched the game.
I never watched it because I was working. So, Calvin, I'll get you to briefly sum up the game for us, mate, and then I've got a wee discussion point, and then we'll move on to our next few bits.
I just feel like the game was sort of summed up our season, really. I feel like we're very comfortable, and I've been banging this drum for a wee while now. Mind you, it's the first time I've seen the Hibs women team. I followed them all year and know all the players in that, so I'm obviously very, very new to it. So, no, I offend you, Jack, if I say anything you disagree with, but I just feel like at the moment you've got three teams in the league that are professional and full time, right? Glasgow City, Celtic, and Rangers. Are Glasgow City full time?
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
Then we're best of the rest, and I just think there's not enough. I'm not going to say there's not enough fight, because the girls were 2-0 down, and they were. You're talking 91st minute. They were pumping balls into the box, trying to get something out of the game. Like they were trying to scrape it back. There was an obvious penalty shout in the first half that Hibs should have had a penalty for, and I think if they could have got that, scored it, got the sort of good feelings going around, kind of would have pecked everyone up a wee bit. But we were denied a Stonewall penalty for a handball, and I think we got caught out at the back, like Jack said, with pace. It was just a through ball that just sliced through. Right through Joelle and Siobhan, and the lassie. Let me get her name right. The women's striker for Spartans. Help me here, Jack. What's the lady's name that scored the two?
I can't mind who scored the goals for them again.
Let me quickly check while you keep talking, mate.
Right. I'll check it here. She was right in the back, and she scored a perfect.
Galbraith.
Galbraith. That's right. She scored a 2.
She is a good player. Like, I think she won't be. Sorry, just to jump in, but I don't think she'll be at Spartans much longer. She's better than that team. I think you could see it at the likes of Celtic or Rangers next season.
No, but I mean, she's one on one with Gabby, and she puts it right across the front of Gabby's goal into the far corner, and there's not much she could do, unfortunately. And then the second goal, just Alexa's no marking at the back post, misses doesn't jump to defend the header. And then she knocks it in for her second goal. And again, I will say one thing though. One thing that really stood out to me, I thought they gave it their best shot. I just think that they're a wee bit off it. I feel like if we didn't score first, but I also feel like we're at a level where we're sort of peaked. And I think it's going to need something special for us to break through that glass ceiling that's there at the moment. Because we compete well with Glasgow City and that, and the big teams, we give them a run for the money, but we down tools when it seems to come to the, like, say, Motherwell or Partick Thistle and Aberdeen's and teams like this, like teams we should be beating in that. Like, I'll be honest with you, we're playing Hearts in a couple of weeks' times, and see that coach that is Eva
Olledge, yeah.
I think she's got them playing good stuff, by the way. I think that'll be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough game for
us. I think that'll be a much closer game than you think. I feel like everybody's getting better and we're very stale. And I think we need a change of some sort just to take us to that next level, to break through that sort of glass ceiling. But I'll commend the team. I thought the team were good. I thought they gave their best. They were fighting right till the last minute. And I'll tell you, someone who'll not be at Hibs very long is Colette Kavanagh, by the way. She's an absolute player.
She'll be
very very positive on the ball going forward.
Yeah,
the ginger Ronaldinho, as you call her. Honestly, head and shoulders above everyone. She's in an attacking position. She's brilliant going forward. That's actually really good to watch.
Yeah,
I think that's good, mate. I think it's frustrating. It's not good enough, in my opinion. No. We should be beating Spartans every single time we play them. And I think very, very briefly before we move on to the quiz, because I know, Jack, you need you need to be away very soon for another commitment. But what's your thoughts on the management of Hibs Women? Obviously, we've had Dean for a wee while, and do you think he's taken us as far as we can go, or do you think there's improvements?
He's done the best with what he's got. To be fair to him, you've got to remember that we're not professional. We're semi-pro, and I think that needs to change until. And I think that's it. When we become professional and we can start attracting sort of a bigger caliber of player, I think what we've got an excellent squad. But I think we should be. I've always said this a long time. We should be targeting Europe. Now, for example, and I'm only just saying this because the leagues I know, you target the Zweite Frauen Bundesliga in Germany, the Women's Bundesliga 2 in Germany. There's some excellent players in there that will come to Scotland because they'll be attracted to a team that can push for Europe. Now, think about it, you play for MSV Duisburg, you play for SV Meppen in second division. For a club like Hibs, because bear in mind, we've got a European pedigree, we're a big name anyway, not take it out of women's football, we're a big name in football anyway, Hibs. They'll see that and they'll want to come in. There's loads of excellent players in the German women's second division. There's players in the lower half of the Frauen Bundesliga, like, Rita Schumacher, always going about her at Karlsruhe. We should be attracting these sorts of players, but you need money to do that. And that's it. And I think that's why Scottish women's football in general is falling behind, because we don't offer enough money to attract these caliber players. And I would like to say we've just obviously signed a new player, Lena Hines. She's coming in from Trinidad and Tobago national team. She's been without a club, but we've got her on a pre-contract. So she'll be joining us when the new season starts. So I think that's a really exciting sign, and that's what we need more of. We need more Americans, we need more European players, we need more players from the Caribbean. Because she's had experience in Iceland and Sweden, which are both top European women's leagues. And with decent clubs, mid-table clubs in those leagues as well. And she's obviously getting regularly capped by Trinidad and Tobago, who are actually a decent team as well. So I think you look at it like that, we need to be doing more of that. But for me, I think you can look at the coach all you want, but you need to look at what's above the coach. I think more investment needs to be made in the women's team. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, more investment's needed to get us to the next level. Because look at Rangers and Celtic, they've pumped money into it. Now, you don't need to throw much money at women's football to get a successful team. Glasgow City don't throw all that much money at it, and they've won the league 15 times in a row. Rangers didn't throw all that much money in the grand scheme of things at it this season, and they're running away with the league title. So I think for me, as you can look at the management, I think Dean's done the best of what he's got.
Glasgow City's top.
I thought Rangers were top.
No, it's City are back top, mate. Very close to the top 10.
Well, anyway, Rangers are still in the sort of battle for the league. And so but Glasgow City, again, both of them have not thrown much money at all in the grand scheme of things. We need to be doing that. We need to be getting the money. We need to be attracting the bigger caliber players. And I think it's about building a squad around. We've got good young Scottish talent like Jenna. You've got your experienced heads like Siobhan and Joelle. It's about building a squad around them. The players are either going to stay for a wee while, or because they're older players like Rachel Boyle, like Siobhan Hunter, like Joelle Money, build a squad around them. So have a skeleton, have foundations that we can build on, and just keep bringing players. And even if we're a selling club that develops players and punch them after a wee while, if that's what we're going to have to do, that's what we're going to have to do. But I think we're a club, we should be challenging for Champions League. You look at the players we used to have: Chelsea Cornet, Jamie Lee Napier, Claire Emsley, Caroline Weir. We should be challenging for Europe. And I think the thing is the clubs allowed it to stagnate. I'm not saying that anything against. Obviously, there's like more pressing matters that we've been in. But I think the good thing is obviously we spoke to Ron about it, and Ron is very much behind the women's team, and I know he will be. He will be putting money in, and he's got big plans. So I think that's a positive thing. I think it's Farmer and Petrie. You've got to blame them for the fact the women's team stagnated a bit, because I think they were the ones that were in when all the other teams started becoming professional. So I think it's a bit too little too late for me. But yeah, I think Dean does a decent enough job. You can tell, like, obviously, I think sometimes team selection and tactics for me can be a bit off, shall we say. But I think, again, when you've got the injuries and you've got the sort of thin squad because we have got quite a thin squad now with players out on loan and injuries and everything like that. When you've got a thin squad, I think Maloney will attest this as well. When you've got a thin squad, you've got to sort of make strange choices, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I'm not excusing it. Obviously, like I've got to say, losing to Spartans, it's like a big game for us. It's a rivalry. You never want to lose to your rivals. And also B, that is one of the worst Spartans team I've seen in years. So to lose to that Spartans team is hugely disappointing. So yeah, that's it for me really on that front.
Aye, well, a disappointing weekend for both men and women's team. Men less so, but we'll move on to our last wee section, which is the Hibs quiz, and it's my turn to host the quiz this week. I've not hosted it in a few episodes, so I've got 6 questions for the boys, 3 men, 3 women as always. And to mix it up this week, I'm going to start with the women's ones. So, Calvin, we'll start with you for the first one, and then Jack, you can answer as well. So the first question for you this week is, how many Twitter followers do Hibs women have?
Oh. Is it nearest guess wins?
We'll go nearest guess wins.
I'm thinking something like I'm trying to work out how many the men would have.
Men have got a lot more.
$10,000.
Jack, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go and take a stab at 13,000.
Oh, Jack, you were really close. It's 14,500.
He's probably got it up the cheap.
I've not even got.
Yeah.
Right,
you heart.
1-0 to Jack. Right, next
You're
question.
A sore loser, Calvin, like Robbie Eveson.
1-0, Jack. Next question, Jack. Who wears number 11 for Hibs women?
Oh, now you're asking. Wait. Oh God, I should really know. I have a feeling it's like because I don't pay attention. Squad numbers I'm awful with. Calvin knows this. I'm going to say I have a funny feeling it's Cav that's number 11.
Calv.
It's Calvin. Aye.
Both right. 2-1 to Jack.
2-1 Hibs.
2-1 Hibs. Next, Calvin, to start with you. Who did Hibs sign from Aberdeen in January, women's team wise?
Oh, Penman.
Jack.
Jenna Penman.
3-2. Good
like
score.
That cup final against the Huns, eh?
Good scoreline that. Right, 3-2 Jack. Moving on to the men's ones. Jack, Hibs record competitive victory is a 15-1 win against who?
Is it it's Bon Accord or something? No, it's not. It's People's. I want to say People's Rovers.
And Calvin?
You know, I'm actually pretty sure Hibs have had a bigger win than that because I used to have a Hibs book and I think we beat the. Let me just Google this.
Yeah, we beat an army regiment like 20-odd-0 back in the 1800s. I'm sure.
Aye, yes. The biggest ever win. Sorry, say it again because if it's the one I'm thinking of.
It's 15-1.
Right, no, that's not what I'm thinking of. He's saying People's. I'll take a stab at it and say themselves. Nah. What? Any idea of the year? Nah.
It was 1961.
Right, Kelvin, come on.
Here.
I can tell you that Jack's right. It was Peebles Rovers. But Jack, because you said Bon Accord, I'm taking your first answer. So you got it wrong, my friend.
No! I didn't say Bon Accord as an answer. I was thinking.
All right, okay. I'll give you 4-2.
The best ever Hibs Cup win was in, I've got it up here, 1881. And does any used to what I guess the score? And we played the 42nd Highlanders.
Yeah, that was like 21-0 or something like that.
Still happened, mate. Still happened.
I went based on what I could find online. It was 15-1, so I can't.
Fair enough, mate.
Right. Anyway, next question.
22-1.
Calvin, start with you this time. How many trophies have Hibs won in total?
Oh. I could actually do the math, but you'll need to bear with me as I think.
It's a lot less than I thought.
It's the League 4 times, Scottish Cup 3 times, the League Cup, I think, 3 times. What was that to me? 10. What other wee daft cups are in there as well?
Oh, are we counting them? Like the Driver Cup and everything like that?
I'm counting trophies in general, mate.
Trophies. Well, I'm going to go in a women's, say, 15.
Jack?
Well, because you've done a stupid here and no specify whether it's major honours or no, and I'm having a bloody rant about it now because you've fucking triggered my OCD. I'm going to just say a major honours one. I'm going to go for about 10 because I'm only going by major honours here.
We've won 16.
Yes, so close. Come on.
Calvin gets the point.
That's a load of bullshit, honestly.
4-3. We've won.
What is it? The Easter Scotland Shield, the McDonald's Cup,
Let me pull it up.
Burger King, bloody Challenge Cup and everything like that.
We've won the Scottish League 4 times, the Second Division 6 times, the Scottish Cup 3 times, and the League Cup 3 times.
Aye.
So there you go.
I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be pedantic, and because I only go by major honours.
Aye, we should have won more than that. Anyway, last question.
Especially last season.
Hibs broke a record in 2009, the quickest goal to be scored in the Premier League. Who scored the goal? Calvin, you go first.
Anthony Stokes.
Jack?
I think it was Stokesy as well.
You're both right. So, Jack...
He's copying me.
What the fuck?
What was the game? Who were we playing? Who were we playing?
Do you remember who we were playing?
To be fair, you'd been a bit younger than me.
I'll have to try. You've got to bear in mind that I was what age at this point?
5, probably. Maybe 6.
Yeah, 6. Yes, I would have been.
Well, it was against Rangers. We got beat 4-1 or 4-2 or something.
4-2 it was.
It was Stokes. I remember it was Stokesy though.
Does anyone remember how?
12 seconds.
12 seconds, correct. So, Jack, you are the quiz winner this time. 5.
Oh, no way! All the extra knowledge I've put in. No, that must be a draw. It can't be.
Jack
got won
because he got more than you.
Yeah, exactly.
You heart bastard.
No,
what, Calvin?
Calvin,
how many did he get?
5.
Did
you got one wrong, remember?
What did you get wrong? What one did you get wrong?
Jack, trophies.
I got the trophies.
And you got the other year wrong as well.
No, I didn't.
The people's one.
No, but I said, I guessed it. I'd said, right, okay, let's clear this up because this is turning into a. This is turning into a bastard. Right, okay, right. This is turning. This is like a board meeting at Rangers before they went bust. All right. So anyway,
I got 2 for the women.
No, Calvin.
It's 4-4. It's 4-4. I got 2 women's one right, and I got 2 men's ones right.
Right.
So did he.
And I got right. So I said people because I said. Was it Bonaccord? And then I said, no, wait.
You took that off him?
Yes.
This is going to a tribunal. This is shocking.
This is going to a court of law.
Let's do a decider.
Right, I'll do a decider, and whoever gets this wins.
Right. On you go.
Let me quickly look up a question.
Oh, for God's sake! Already.
Who is Hibs' last player to wear number 91?
Oh, fun.
Boom, on the buzzer, Victor Paulson.
Correct. Calvin, you are the winner. There we go.
I love you, mate.
Anyway.
I'll share my trophy with you.
I think we can call it a 5-4 win to Calvin.
I think we can call it, like I said, that boardroom meeting.
You know what? Put an asterisk next to it.
Aye, we'll go to VAR and we'll decide on Thursday who won. Anyway,
put an asterisk next to it.
That brings us to a close of this episode. We'll be back on Thursday with a preview of the Motherwell Fine Thank You Cup game. Got there before you did, and then also we've got.
I'm going to play Motherwell as well. Double header against She's Fine.
Well, part 2.
Double She's Fine Thank You, and we've also got a special episode on Friday that we'll only reveal now, but we'll reveal on Thursday who it is, and we're going to be
Sunshine Leaf Links, by the way.
We're going to be recording that at Easter Road in person, so look out for that.
That's
one.
Leaf Links cat
coming out.
Calvin,
when will that come out? It won't be Friday, I'm imagining.
wouldn't be far off it, mate.
Maybe Friday.
Monday or so. It might build up a bit of buzz that day, Ken.
Aye. Right. Well, anyway, and until next time, come on, Hibs.